culture. Spilling the plenty. Pop culture. Spilling the
I'm not
plenty.
hearing any jingle.
You didn't hear the jingle?
Nope.
That's not good.
But now I'm not in the mood. I want to hear the jingle. I'm gonna pretend that I heard the jingle. Are we still recording?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, welcome to Prop Culture. I'm Jos, and I'm here with.
Tanya.
How are you?
I'm good. What about you?
Oh, I'm great. Well, not that happy as fall is coming upon us. I'm longing for spring again, so I'm feeling a little bit gloomy. But yeah, I'm just happy that my plants are in the greenhouse, safe and warm. How about
What-
your plants?
I have no clue, to be honest, because I'm far away from my plants, and right now, the only thing in my possession is a Tridescantia zebrina and a Epipremnum pothos enjoy. But contrary to you, I'm looking out on water, and it's really sunny and it's glistening. So I'm right by the Atlantic Ocean right now, which is why I'm not with my plants. But yeah, I get regular updates. They seem to be doing fine. Actually, yesterday I got a leaf photo of a new leaf for my Philodendron Verde, and it seems to be doing great.
So just to get everything right, your plants are still in Europe, in the Czech Republic, but you moved to the US, right?
Right. But just for a limited period of time.
Your plants are taken care of, right?
My partner is trying. I think, yeah, he's doing his best. He has no idea about plants, and yeah, but he's doing his best.
Okay, prop culture. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So when was it? Last week? You came to me and you said, Tanya, let's do a podcast.
It was exactly 1 week ago, and here we are 1 week later recording. We came up with a name, we came up with a tune, we came up with a logo. That's
Yeah.
the fun part. But now we have to start talking.
No, we actually have to talk about stuff, right? Well, I think first thing we should do is let people know what prop culture is about. And there is the word propagation in there. And so that gives away the first hint. Why don't you elaborate?
Yeah, it's not only about propagation, it's about plants in general, about people collecting plant more specifically. I think you and me both have been in the plant collecting community for quite some years now. We've seen it change dramatically. And I think something that you and I both noticed is that people still love plants a lot. That hasn't changed, but people have seen that a lot of this community is focused on selling and buying plants and not actually on creating community. We don't see a lot of people meeting up. We don't see a lot of people actually talking about plants. And I think that's something that's missing. That's why you and I both had a mission of trying to make this community more into a sustainable community where people interact with each other, people who love plants.
And prop culture is just one way we do that. The other part of the name culture kind of alludes to our actual company, which is Horticulture Digital Solutions. And this podcast is basically like a partner to all those projects that we do. And definitely, I mean, I've spoken online. I don't know how much online speaking you've done, but this is definitely my first own podcast. And so we're kind of testing the waters to see how a podcast can help us bring together our different projects. And you have some big plant groups on Facebook, and I think we both have a pretty decent following. For me, who I'm just a collector, I think I have a decent following. Plus, I have mixed content on Instagram, but you have like, I don't know, 26,000 followers on Instagram, etc. And yeah, I think a podcast is a good way to kind of loop everybody in, and we can share bits and pieces that happen across the community, and hopefully we can build something great.
I have zero experience in talking online, so I'm shitting my pants right now.
That's okay.
Just-
Nobody can see. Nobody can smell.
But also, this is not going to be a super serious podcast because
No.
I think that also reflects the name. We want to be like we want to be two divas talking about plants and plant community. We're going to be talking about gossip. We're going to be talking about drama that's happening, but
Mhm.
also serious part, science. So it's going to be a combination of both, combining both what's happening, what's living. I see a lot of people in different groups and they are all very niche. And I think we need to bring those communities together by talking about what we all are interested in, and that's plants. I think sometimes drama is part of it. I think there's quite some drama in the plant community. As long as it's in good spirit, I think we can talk about it and we can spill the plant tea.
You did that beautifully. Bringing in the tagline. Yeah,
You already
exactly.
did some introduction about yourself, but maybe we can expand a little bit on that, what your involvement is in horticulture, or maybe we said enough.
You mean in horticulture or in horticulture?
No, just like a quick summary of who
Oh,
is
okay.
Tanya? Why should we care about Tanya?
Well, I don't know if you should care about me. You should bow to. No, I'm kidding. Um,
Hmm.
why should you care? Well, I guess I'm one of the community. I've grown plants all my life, but I really, really got into it as a form of mental health support during the pandemic, as so many. And throughout that journey, though, even though plants were giving me something, or plants were giving my 24 hours a day some kind of purpose, and I got to learn and I got to nourish and I got to feel pride for when they grew and the frustration and everything. So that started during the pandemic. But I also had this feeling that the end of the pandemic was about to destroy something that could remain beautiful, which is the plant community. And so 2 years ago, we decided to do horticult together. I love your nerdy brain. I'm just all about the pretty foliage and whatever, but you're like the science guy between the two of us. And I love that we can feed off each other like that. And I think we've built something gorgeous.
Yeah, and I think you're the project manager of the both of us. So I think we make a good team. You like to do the boring stuff, and I like to do the nerdy stuff. No,
Yeah.
that's not true. I think our passion for plants is something both you and I have combined. Um, and I agree with everything you said about the plant community. I really do feel and believe that we can and should make a difference. I don't want the plant community to go back to where it was before 2020, even though we are really heading towards it. So let's throw everything at it and see what sticks. So, as a short introduction, my name is Jos, and you can know me as Captain Aroid on Instagram. I have a company called Best Buds, started in 2020, where I was selling mainly aroids in an online shop. I'm located in Belgium, in Europe, so shout out to all non-European listeners also. I have been working with plants since then, but even before I had a passion for plants, mainly tropical plants, fascination with it. So I think that's about it about me. You can follow my journey on Instagram. I also have a TikTok, but that's not really relevant, I guess.
I think today is a special day. Not only are we recording our first episode, we are seriously inching towards the public launch of Plant Provenance,
Oh, I'm so excited.
which is like our flagship product that has been in the making for 23 frickin' months.
It
It's
has
like
been
we're a pregnant elephant or something.
even worse. Like, I have been anticipating this day for so long, but even now, it's not ready, but yeah, it's the furthest we've ever come. So yeah, this is a big day. This is a really big day. Do you want to talk about the project? I'm
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
too
Let's
excited. I'm just a
briefly.
bit too excited at the moment. I'll just add.
Okay, so Plant Provenance is a platform for collectors, breeders, sellers, hobbyists, professionals, plant influencers, everybody in the plant community to actually document their collections. Those plants, obviously, that they find worthy of documentation. And the ultimate goal is to establish a provenance over time, but even retrospectively. So let's say I got a plant from Enid, right? that she sold to me from her collection. I would put my plant on the platform and then I would send Enid an invitation to confirm my acquisition of that plant, and then that would be reflected on the platform. When you would visit my plant, you would see that the previous plant material was owned by Enid, so I can track whether I've grown something from seed or from a cutting, whichever way it was multiplied, or hybrids, whatever. And the goal is that over time, we establish these wonderful provenance trees. And then for those who want to take it a step further, they can also issue plant provenance certificates. And the whole thing is meant to not just be about that dry topic of, okay, I'm going to establish a provenance, but it's a way of showing breeders and botanists and the people that went out and discovered what we consider as rare or desirable, to pay tribute to them, for one, by documenting that lineage, but also to keep the community together. You can message other users, you can filter the user base by location, by plant expertise, etc. So it's a very nerdy, but I think fun way to share your collection with others, all while establishing that provenance that I think is, or that we both think is so important in our plant collecting journey. Because it's one thing to have something what could be considered a delta force, but it's something else knowing I have an offspring of the delta force, right?
Hmm.
And I'm mentioning Anthurium now because Anthurium is something that I do collect, but of course, this is valid for any genus out there.
Exactly. I'm gonna be a little bit sneaky here to say that this is just the start point, like you mentioned about reaching out to other collectors or finding, other breeders near to you. This is just the first step into creating a social network that will connect breeders, collectors, just people who love plants in a big ecosystem that's going to be all about plants. But I think we need to start with that nerdy part that's going to be the backbone of everything, because I think there's so much misinformation out there and so many people who are using the wrong words, the wrong names for plants, the wrong information about plants. So if we start with getting that provenance, that lineage, that information right, and build a social network around that, that can be traced back to information that's already on the website, I think we can make a sustainable plant community that knows what they are talking about. People get scammed less, people are informed well, they have one source of information, well, not one source, but like a good source of information. And also, but that's again for later on, people reaching out in real life and connecting in real life too, like setting up fairs, setting up swap parties, whatever. We want to create that community that lets people that love plants thrive, connect, communicate.
Right. So we're basically soft launching as we're recording. So we're very excited and we look forward to welcome you there. That's going to be plantprovenance.com. Um, let's move on to the next bit.
Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Ding, ding, ding,
Plant
ding.
news. Tanya, I did some research this week
Okay.
about some plant news that is happening recently. Some things might be a little bit more recent than others,
Mhm.
but I'm gonna tell them to you and see how you react to it. One thing I found was a very recent article I saw. Let me open it, by Kat Brancato, published in realsimple.com. It was published the end of October, so it's very recent. The title is Forget Monsteras and Fiddle Leaf Figs. These will be the most popular houseplants in 2026.
Okay.
So let me see your reaction to that.
All right.
First one, Alocasia Silver Dragon.
Will that have a comeback? I mean, wasn't that already a thing?
See, but I think that's gonna be your reaction to all the things I mentioned. Yeah, for sure. For people who are collecting, like you and me, that's definitely already a thing.
Okay, I'm going
I
to
could
assume.
see this one being newer to non-collectors.
I'm going to assume that since we collected Alocasia Silver Dragons, these have gone through various cycles of tissue culture and have been trained basically to live in regular household conditions.
That's
So
a
maybe
bold
that's why.
that's a bold assumption you make.
I would
I
hope
think people
so.
are gonna kill that plant in the first 3 months they have it for sure.
Yeah, because they're going to go
Um,
looking for corms.
but the second plant on the list is the one I really wanted your reaction to.
Hmm.
So the second one mentioned to being the it plant of 2026, Philodendron Birkin.
You have got to be shitting me. Why? I thought we've gotten over that one.
But also, like, have you done any research?
Like, that
Like
has to
even
be some.
even back in 2020, it was not the it plant.
No. It was like, what? You have a Birkin? Ew. Even though they are gorgeous. I mean, I'm not going to. I had one for the longest time until
I
it
like
died
them
in a
best
heat wave.
when they revert,
Mine never reverted.
especially when they revert like to the red Congo part
Yeah, that's
of
ugly.
the hybrid.
I've seen that, but luckily mine never did that. It just croaked on me at some point.
So I'm gonna skip number 3 because that's not interesting. Then on number 4 they have Rex Begonia. So Begonia is the name and Rex is, you know,
I've had a few, but I do think begonia are like timeless and they come back in waves.
but also do we feel like it's gonna be an it plant?
No.
Again, that I remember that being an it plant in 21.
Maybe they're looking at stock lists for big box
Mm,
stores, what they plan to stock next year. And this is kind of like, you know, creating a hype that isn't really there yet.
yeah, true. Like seeing the list of TC plants coming into greenhouses, so they are like artificially creating
Yeah, the demand.
the demand. Because on number 7 we see prayer plant Maranta,
Which one? Does it specify?
Maranta leuconeura.
Oh, God, no. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a beautiful plant, but
they are all really like, yeah. Number 8, I think it's not a new one, but I personally hope that it's gonna be more popular. It's like Coleus. I don't know if you know the genus. It's like a decorative nettle. The thing is, I have like several Coleus here at home because in the greenhouse where I'm keeping my plants, the grower he grows specific cultivars of Coleus. And I used to think these were kind of like a bit kitschy, but I've grown so fond of them. He has like Coleus that's completely orange, and it's so cool to look at. It's so Halloween. I have one that's a dark red, like fuchsia almost, completely. Like it's so surreal, and I love the way it grows.
to
I,
me,
I'm
it's grandmother's plant, honestly, because that's like one of the first house plants I remember. And especially when I was a kid, I lived in Germany and we lived in this area where there was a lot of Turkish families, and all of them grew these all over their places. Like, to me, that is a super, in my lifetime, super old house plant. I can't see the appeal of them.
but there are really cool new cultivars. That's what I'm saying.
Probably,
Like
but you just made me look up the chocolate mint, and that is like so.
boring. Yeah.
No, it's not boring. I'm not going to say that. It just feels old school to me.
I get it.
Like I wouldn't waste my good shelf space for a plant like that.
So I think that's it for the trending plans for 26. I think it's safe to say that's not what's gonna trend in the plant
No,
collecting
but I guess
community.
plants are like fashion. It always comes back,
Yeah,
right?
that's for sure.
Yeah.
So talking about collecting, I'm guessing you heard of a string of hearts,
Of course.
string of pearls.
Yes.
Those are actually string of hearts and string of pearls are two separate plants genera. They're not from the same species.
Mm-hmm.
So, but did you know there are like over 13 string of plants that you can collect?
Well, I know of dolphin and tears and turtles and
Exactly. So there are, I have listed, I think, 14 of them. About half of them are from the Curio genus.
mm-hmm.
So you have a string of bananas,
Mm-hmm.
string of pearls, string of raindrops, string of dolphins. Never saw that one. I saw it for the first time before. Looks
I
really
had
cool
one.
to me. String of tears and string of watermelons. Those are all from the Curio genus. And then we have two of the Ceropegia genus, string of needles and string of hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have string of buttons, which is Crassula, string of pickles, also called ruby necklace plant,
Mm-hmm.
string of nickels, string of turtles, and string of coins.
Okay. I
So
currently have in my collection a string of turtles that is growing so prolifically, and I'm not doing anything to it. It's just hanging in a super bright window, and it's so full and bushy, it's insane.
you have turtles or dolphins or
No,
both?
I have turtles. My
Okay,
dolphins died,
okay. To me, the dolphins looked really cool today, so
but they can revert their shape. Like when I got it, they really looked like dolphins. And after about half a year, they started looking like bananas. But from your list, those are like two different things. I don't know. They lost their little fin, and then eventually they just, yeah, I had this really
from what
bad
I
heat
found, the
wave.
string of dolphins is a hybrid, so it might express differently when
Yeah,
it ages.
yeah.
Okay, so do you know of any other collections that are based on something else than genus, like collecting a specific color or collecting a leaf shape, like gotta catch 'em all?
I would say something pretty popular among anthurium collectors is like either those who collect heart shapes or those who collect straps. I kind of do both, but I do have all my straps in one room and my hearts are in the other room. So,
But that is that's the same genus. So
yeah, it is.
I really like the idea of like having a collection based on I'm gonna collect all the string of types,
Mhm.
and it doesn't matter what kind of genus it is. Just I want to have all the string of. I don't know of any other examples, but to
I
me, it sounded really cool.
For some time, I did spend a lot of time and money, and this was probably my second year, on variegated monstera and variegated philodendron. I think at some point I had like over 120 monstera albos, not full plants, but like cuttings. I would buy beautiful plants and then chop them up and, just so I could find the perfect plant. And then the rest I would just give away or sell, whatever. Yeah, that was like trying to get the most beautiful albo monstera.
How about we go to the next new thing or exciting latest news I found in an Orchid group that I'm in? I saw a post, it was quite recent. It was a person who was describing their newest hybrid cultivar they created. And they said they were going to name it Orchid Charles III, which is cool. I have a picture added to the Trello. You can see what it
Mm-hmm.
looks like.
It's
But
gorgeous.
what struck me as interesting was the person who was writing the post said that they were awaiting approval from Buckingham Palace to name the plant Charles III. He said, "We're working with the British Embassy on the details." I had no idea that you needed to do that or that people were actually doing that.
Well, I guess it's the right thing to do, no? If you're gonna adorn your plant with a name of that gravitas. Um, yeah, I'd probably get
Is
back up
it?
too, but
Do you think he cares?
he doesn't, but his press and lawyers and whatnot. I mean, is royalty a brand? I don't know. And he's a living person. I probably wouldn't bother if it was a deceased royal, but he is a living person.
It's not something that I would think about if I would name an Anthurium cultivar Charles III of contacting Buckingham Palace, but maybe in the
Yeah,
orchids community there's more
but
gravitas to it.
imagine what it does to that price for that plant if the king or the court actually says, yes, you can use this name. I mean,
Definitely.
that's like gold plating your cultivar.
And I think also that the king does have interest in orchids, so maybe
Probably.
he
Like, I'm
might be
like
in.
fascinated, and we're gonna have to share this image somehow. but I'm fascinated by the way the orchid in your picture is potted. Did you realize that? It's like
Mm.
potted in two terracotta
Ah,
pots
yeah, I see.
that are sitting in each other. That's weird. Never seen that.
That's pretty.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's this whimsical. It reminds me of light purple cake frosting.
Okay, I have one more latest news
Tell me,
for you. Um, I'm also in another Facebook group. It's
how
called
dare you?
Houseplant Lovers Addict Group. And I saw a post this week by somebody who was outraged that their posts were being deleted, and they asked the admins why. And so I
Uh-huh.
started reading the comments. Apparently, the group with almost 1 million people has no active admins, and comments get auto deleted with some words in them that are flagged.
But
So
there's
I
one
was
admin. Are they not active?
apparently not. That's what the comment said.
Okay.
Um, Not sure if that's true, but even if it's not true, one admin for 1 million
That's
people
insane.
in a group, that's insane. That's insane. Exactly. My
Have
group,
you
Antirums Europe, has almost 8,000 people now, and it does take a few, like half an hour at least, work a day. So imagine that times 1,000.
I'm just gonna assume something here, having run groups in the past, and I've wanted to shut down some. I'm gonna think that this group grew exponentially during the pandemic and shortly after. And with that amount of people, you probably get a shit ton to do, right? And if you look back
Definitely.
2 years earlier, the admin tools for group admins were not as accommodating as they are today. So I'm going to assume that the original admins and moderators just got sick and tired of this group and they left the group. And Facebook, then what it usually does, or what it used to do when I wanted to delete my last one, it told me if I leave the group, it would flag the open admin position to the current members. And then the first person that claims it basically gets the admin role. And maybe they've left Facebook too, or they just didn't care enough to actually really, you know, you get a notification on Facebook and you click on it and boom, you've accepted something. So, yeah, maybe there just is no real admin in there.
And there's still a lot of interaction in that group, so it's sad that, a community like that might get lost because there's no admins. Last post of the admin was August 2024.
Yeah, you never know what happens to these people.
I know, but
But yeah,
yep.
sad for the community.
Yes. All right. Maybe we can talk a bit about our future plans with the podcast. My idea is to have certain segments that will be returning through the podcast. I hope that we can release an episode a week. I think that would be a good amount. And then we'd have some segments that will be returning. I'm thinking of a provenance spotlight, for instance, where we talk about the origin story of a cultivar.
Mhm.
I'm thinking of a segment called Collector's Confessions, where people would talk about, crazy splurges they did or something that went wrong or successes. So, talking about these other introductions of new cultivar species or scientific updates, I think that's also would also be an interesting segment.
Mhm.
And then also, starting from next episode, we would focus on one subject and work that out a bit bigger. Like today, we talked about plant provenance, but we could talk about the International Art Society, for instance, or, other subjects that we think about. And then lastly, we would look into having interviews with people, prominent people from the plant collecting community.
I already
Um,
added my wish list candidates.
I saw, yes.
I
We
want
really,
Stan Smith from Monstera Stan. I
yeah,
would love
you're
to
really a
have.
fan.
Hmm?
You're a big fan, right?
I am. Well, that's because we love the same plants, so. And of course, I'd love to talk to Jeff again, to Dr. Block. I've interviewed him before for a different project, and I know you've spoken to him. Would
Yes.
love to talk to him again. Always good to have Memo on board, right? We've done a few things with Memo in the past. On Instagram, he's Trojan King 9. His YouTube channel is Houseplanty Goodness. I'd love to have Johnny here from the Bearded Plantaholic, and I think you added Bill Rotolante from Silver Chrome Gardens, who happens to be
Yeah,
my boss at the Aroid Society.
I spoke
Um,
with him, I think, 4 years ago, and he's just a source of knowledge
it's
that
insane.
we shouldn't keep from the world. So
It's insane.
I think also outside the Arab community, because that's the community we're most in. But I think there's prominent figures outside that community that can really be interesting for an interview.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Also, people that are geographically more like the Sydney plant guy, for instance. I would love
Yeah.
to have an interview with him. So this is a reach out in the
And
first
even like with
episode.
Fraser Cook,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
super interesting in terms of what does he call it? He taught us not to call it poaching, but wild harvesting. And he has some really interesting thoughts about that. I love that. Definitely going to have him on the podcast. And if there's anybody you guys would love to, you know, have on prop culture, please do drop the name. We'd love to hear from you. And then, of course, I want to have a segment on the show that is called This Episode is Sponsored By. Because I'm the one who does the boring things, right? I'm going to have to think about monetization.
Yeah. Do we need to?
Ladies and gentlemen, you've listened to episode 1 of Prop Culture, Spilling the Plant Tea. Um,
If
I'm
you
going to
made
say
it this
goodbye.
far,
You go ahead and finish it up.
congratulations. This was our first trial, and I think it worked out fine. I think we're gonna need to edit some parts out, but the next episodes will be a little different, a little the same. We're gonna talk about plants. We're gonna talk about gossip. We're gonna laugh. We're gonna mess up, but that's what it's going to be. We're gonna spill the plant tea.
Right.
So if you want to join in spilling the plant tea, there's many ways to do so. We have Facebook channels, Instagram, whatsoever, and subscribe to the podcast.
Yeah, on your favorite podcast streaming service, whatever it's called. All right, guys. I hope you have a good one. Happy planting and come back next time.
See you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.
Spilling the plenty. Pop culture. Spilling the plenty.